Hello and welcome to this mid-morning taste challenge. I have 40% alcohol, 40% alcohol, Caribbean Islands rums, bottled in the United States. Now, this is WD Liquors. You can hear them cutting the grass next door. I'm going to do that Thursday. That's my plan, Thursday in my yard. Winn-Dixie Liqueur, Winn-Dixie Liquors, although they do sell some liqueurs too. Winn-Dixie Liquors Light Rum, imported from the Caribbean Islands by Worldwide Distillers, right? Yeah, Wide World Distillers, Frankfort, Kentucky. So it's bottled in Kentucky and it's sold at Winn-Dixie, and it's $12.99 this month, well, until the 25th. I could show you the website. It's not worth looking at. All right, so you can link to it if you'd like. Here is Bocador in your mouth. Bocador rum, white label. The original Bocador rum, famous. They say it's famous. I don't know if it's famous. I never heard anybody talk about it in my life. For its character, made by master distillers where the tropical winds blow. Bottled by Worldwide Distillers Company, Philadelphia. So this is bottled in Philadelphia. There's no website listing. It's got a white label with pink and gold trim. I bought this Superior Rum, as the bottle says, this liter bottle in Reserve, Louisiana at Don's Country Store. It was Don's Country Store. It was that's on Louisiana Highway 53, right? Northbound. But anyway, it is a country store, but they make their own sausage and hog's head cheese. It was $8.99 for this liter bottle. I'd never seen it before, and I have not seen it since. All right. I thought, well, they had a 151 proof also, but I was too afraid to buy that. So I went back, seeing if they had any other variants. They didn't have it at all. It's just one of those things, like in Louisiana, it's probably the same in your state. Things will show up, and you don't see them again, ever. I did find out that the trademark for this was acquired in 1971. The U.S. government gave the trademark. So it's been on the market since 1971, 54 years old. Now, you might live in a town or a region where it's on every shelf. And if you do, let me know, because it's definitely not on every shelf here. Like I said, I only found it on one shelf. Winn-Dixie, yeah, well, they have a lot of Winn-Dixie stores in Louisiana. They all sell liquor. Well, maybe not the one in Chalmette, Louisiana, because I think there was a problem with Chalmette's, St. Bernard Parish's government regulations that they couldn't sell liquor except in a liquor store. That might have changed, but I remember years ago, you couldn't buy liquor at Racetrack. You couldn't buy liquor at Winn-Dixie. Only at liquor stores like Super Discount Store. Now, they might have relaxed that rule. Okay. I could find out by checking the Winn-Dixie website. You know what? After this is over, I think I'll do that. So pour the Bocador. Clear as a bell. Pour a little bit too much. Winn-Dixie, WD Liquors, as they call it. Let's check the website. I'm going to change the store, and I'm going to see what I can find. Destrehan, Louisiana, Gramercy, Louisiana, Kenner, River Ridge, Metairie, New Orleans. That's a big store. Riverside Market, New Orleans. That's a big one. Marrero. Somebody told me that's about to be turned into an Aldi. The one on Airline Highway in Metairie has already been turned into an Aldi. Hammond, Gretna, Algiers, Shepman Tour Highway, New Orleans, Chalmette. Here we go. Chalmette. Let's see what happens here. Yep, they're showing it. Okay, so Chalmette, St. Bernard Parish started allowing liquor sales. Yep, $12.99. There you go. Okay, good to know. They had to do that because they were losing all their tax revenue to out of parish stores. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense. You know, it's like, oh man, I live in Araby, Louisiana, in St. Bernard Parish. That's how they pronounce it down there, St. Bernard. Benoit. I heard someone say Benoit. Burley Sullivan says, you. Cheers back to you. But like, say you live in Araby and you're like, man, I can't buy any liquor at this grocery store. I got to go way down St. Bernard Highway to get to the liquor store. But yet you could go half a mile, cross the imaginary line on the ground, go into New Orleans, and go to the first convenience store or grocery store and buy liquor all you want. So, I mean, it's like, why? And then they got New Orleans to the north of St. Bernard, to the west and the north. It's like, why give away all the tax revenue? I'm sure they had people saying that. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. So they changed the law. Same thing with Baton Rouge. In Baton Rouge, you can only buy liquor at a liquor store until Total Wine wanted to come into the city. And they weren't going to turn them away. So they were like, oh, yeah, well, it's a liquor store, you know, but then all the competitors were like in an uproar, I'm sure, like, what? They're going to run us out of business. This is not fair. So then Baton Rouge Parish, East Baton Rouge Parish was like, oh, we'll change that rule. Sell liquor at Winn-Dixie, not a problem. All right. Some of these regulations are so counterproductive, you know. Now in Alabama, it's the whole state. There's no exception. So no problem. People just drive to Florida. If they live in, you know, Loxley, Alabama, or Mobile, they just take a monthly trip to Florida, load up, come back, save all kind of money. It's Alabama's problem. My daughter buys liquor when she comes to Louisiana on a trip. She avoids Alabama liquor purchasing. All right. Yeah, it's kind of a sting in the nose, and I don't recall the WD liquors having a sting. Listen to how loud those machines are. They don't do that good of a job cutting, but maybe those people are paying them for like a budget cut, like just cut, and a little bit of edging because they don't edge the sidewalk at all. There's grass growing up out the cracks. Like me, I edge everything, you know. I don't pay anybody to do my yard because, you know, at the most it takes 2 hours. That's with edging, cutting, sweeping up the grass, cleaning up the mower, sweeping up everything, sweeping up the pavement, you know. That's at the worst case scenario. Sometimes the whole thing could be an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, whoa. This has a sweetness to it. You say, you can't smell sweetness. Don't you know science? I know you can't smell sweetness, or at least that's what people tell me, but it smells like fruity or something. Must be the Bocador. They're going to go to the next house northeast of here after. They're going to do 2 yards. Watch. You'll see. Well, you'll hear it. Price, yeah, they're about the same. So on price, you're not going to save anything really. Availability, not the same. Bocador, I've seen it once in my life in Louisiana. You might live, like I say, you might live in West Virginia and say, man, that's in every store. What are you talking about? Winn-Dixie, well, if you live by a Winn-Dixie, you got it, man. All right, taste. I've been saying this the whole series. It's very standard. It's just like a standard dry white rum. Does it have exotic flavors and aromas? Absolutely not. Does it have anything unusual or strange about it? No way. Is it just a standard utility white rum that can be used for, because nobody's going to sip it neat, like except for me, kind of eccentric, for cocktails and things like that. Yeah, that's what it's made for. That's why people buy it. And that's why it's $12.99. Hey Jay, what is the best food to have with the WD Light Rum? Says Invasion. I don't know because I never paired liquor with food, so I could not honestly comment with that. I would just be, like pulling something out the air. Maybe soda crackers with some Limburger cheese and some Mexican hot sauce, though. That might work. Okay, if you could, some people can't stand Limburger. Well, actually, most people can't stand. Oh, the aroma is different, but the taste is the same. So, do these taste alike? Yeah, they taste exactly the same. They're both from the Caribbean islands, wherever that's from. We don't know. They're both 40% alcohol. They're both clear rums. They're both bottled in the United States. They're both, if you want to call them, value priced, popular priced. Okay, more important point. Any nasty, off, or weird flavors associated with these two? No, 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 no. They taste fine, but that's what you're going to get with a lot of these private labels or low profile products. This is not a private label, but they'd just be fine. You know what I mean? No, I mean not like something you want to go track down, just something to drink. Are they a decent substitute for your major brands, Captain Morgan White or your what's another Bacardi White, Bacardi Superior? Yeah, they're a decent substitute. It's a trade-off. You're going to lose a little quality, but you're going to gain in savings. You're going to save a lot of money if you're willing to do the trade-off. Then it's worth it. If you're not willing to do the trade-off, then obviously it's not worth it. Am I willing to do the trade-off? That's a moot point because I don't drink liquor. Now you might be scratching your head like, don't you do liquor taste challenges multiple times during the week? Yeah, but I don't drink it. I just do taste challenges. You see, I just like buy a brand, try it, and then I challenge it against the other brands. So in a practical sense, it would be irrelevant to me. Theoretically, I would buy them. You see, speaking of Captain Morgan, I want to go across the street and get some more of that stuff I bought. The Captain Morgan Sliced Tropical Hurricane is so smooth. That is a good malt beverage. Whoever thought Captain Morgan would put out a malt beverage, a beer, really a beer? Well, when it got bought out by Diageo, I guess that came into play. Diageo being Guinness Beer Company. They changed the name to Diageo. It sounds, like a more global something. Captain Morgan was started in 1943 by Seagram's. That's right, Seagram's, their spice rum offering. But then they branched out, just regular rums, not just spice. But Seagram's sold it to Diageo. Yeah, they surprised me when they put it out as well. I'm glad they did. Yeah, and they'll probably add more flavors. There's 2 flavors now, but they probably, if the sales are good, well, we don't know if they will be. But if the sales are good, you would assume they're going to add more and more and more flavors. Why not? What the heck? Captain Morgan is a well-known brand. People buy it. If they see it, they buy it, right? They even have these Captain Morgan like bags. It's like bag liquor. It's like Kool-Aid, but what you do with it, you take it and you freeze it. And you make like a slushy and people sip on it. I never had those, but they always come up with something new. Yeah, it tastes fine. Is it bountiful in flavor? Nah. Is it bland? Yeah, these are always bland. Don't ever think otherwise. That's why it's $12.99, $8.99. But they're not bad. You understand? They're just bland, But you could say that for most major liquor in brands. Just think about that for a minute. They're all kind of bland, but it's something to drink. What the heck? Winn-Dixie is good. How do you know that? You live in India. Now, somebody got angry yesterday and said I was making him look like a dummy in front of everybody. I wasn't making him look like a dummy. I was just kidding around, and I didn't know what he was talking about. He was like, you, and I was like, I thought he was kidding. I thought he was like joking, playing games. People do that. And I just told him, I said, I don't understand this gibberish. And then he was like all angry. Oh, yeah. I've said this before on these hangouts. I've always had problems with volatile people. In 14 years of doing these videos, you got people that watch volatile, or what you would call just their personality type. Like they might be extroverted. They're out there talking to everybody, but they're unstable in a way, like extroverted, unstable. So they're like, hey, let's have a good time. Yeah, I love that whiskey too. Yeah, yippee-ki-yay, mother father. Having a great time. Everybody's cool, hanging out. But then they'd be happy one minute and they hate you the next. Like, what'd you say? I hate you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you all. It's like, well, I was just kidding around. What are you talking about? People. I've met people like that in real life. They're like, like Hans Einzink would have said, extroverted, unstable, going out, hanging out with a lot of people, life of the party, talking, got a lot to say, but you don't really know how to approach them because they could turn in a moment. Unstable. Your best friend one day and they're your arch enemy the next. And we all know people like that. Some of them are introverted, unstable. They're not out and about loud and having a good time. They're like at home, quiet, and like, don't touch me, don't touch me. It's like, I wasn't going to. You told me to bring you the newspaper. Okay, well, you brought it so we could leave. But they're unstable. And then a week later, they'll call you on the phone. Don't bring the paper anymore. Well, I don't mind bringing it. You said you wanted it, and I bought it. I'll bring it to you. Well, you know why, but you don't know why. Oh, that's right, because you're crazy. I forgot you were crazy. But you know what I'm saying. A lot easier to deal with stable extroverted or stable introverted. Introverted usually wouldn't comment, but they might, but under an alias, obviously be under an alias name. But these are definitely stable products. They never change, more or less. I mean, they might vary a little bit because they could be getting different suppliers, but you know what I'm saying. It's always going to be about the same, and that it will be drab. It'll be drab or dull or bland if you want to call it that. But I mean, most of the mass market is drab. It's just the way it is. You buy cars and they have their standard products. They're not flashy or out there. They're just a car. You drive it, or an SUV. You drive it. You get too exotic or outlandish, and then the market drops for it. But of course, I'm telling you what you know already. It could be the same with any food product. Yeah, good, but not amazing. As we say 1,000 times, 1,000 times, 1,000 times. Now you could say, I'm going to start watching your channel because you keep talking about these ordinary products, and then you talk about how they're ordinary. You need to put in some fancy stuff. You need to start selling t-shirts and apparel and begging people to subscribe, and you need to put a lot of production values and music and graphics. Yeah, I could do all that, but it wouldn't change the product. I mean, the product would still be bland. I'm not going to sit here and take something that's ordinary and try to make it seem like it's great. I find eating Spam or Vienna sausage and crackers good with beer and liquor. Sometimes sardines or potted meat as well as corned beef. Really, I believe you. Wonder where you got that idea from. Um, this is an absolute tie. I'm telling you right now, it's just like across the board, even. And why wouldn't it be? Yeah. So it's yeah, not a problem, but not. It's like watching television at night. You go through the channels, but that's not even bland. That's just like below average. So if you go through the channels at night, it's mostly like terrible, horrible, terrible, horrible, horrible, terrible. 50 years ago, it might have been like okay, 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 substandard, substandard, okay, substandard, horrible, substandard, okay. Oh, Fernwood tonight. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Somebody's talented, but you really get that anymore. That's why I just watch sports, which supposedly is not fixed. If you had to choose one, which would you choose between WD rum or Bocador white? Uh-huh. I wish you would not have answered. I wish you would not have asked that question. No, I don't know. I guess I would choose both or neither. I would choose both. I wouldn't turn them away. I guess you could call it an approach conflict. Like you have to make a choice. Say, no, you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice. Okay, but it doesn't matter because either choice you make is a good choice. Like it tastes pretty good and it's cheap. It tastes pretty good and it's cheap. You say, what's the downside? Well, they're kind of bland. But then, like I just said, you could pay twice as much, and then those would be kind of bland. So that's not really a factor when you think about it. So, yeah, it's an approach conflict. There's four main types of conflicts: approach, avoidance, approach, avoidance, and double approach avoidance. And this is clearly an approach conflict because you're not paying a lot. You want to approach either one because it tastes, pretty nice. And either choice is enjoyable. So that's the best conflict to have because either way you go, you enjoy it. And there's no downside. Now, the worst conflict is an avoidance conflict. It's like you got to make a choice, but either choice is bad. It's like, would you want to be shot or hung? Because you're about to be executed and they give you a choice. You could be shot or hung. You're like, well, that's not really a good choice. Right. It's an avoidance conflict. But then you could just say, let me eat a bit of honey before we proceed. A bit of honey. And then you got them trapped now. Okay, that was a good example, Jay, laughing out loud. All right. So as we close out, oh, wait, I got to see if I can tell which is which. Well, I set them down this way so I could just pull them back like this. I went left, I went like that, so I didn't cheat. All right. It's kind of scary. I think that the WD is a little drier, but it's so close. It's so crazily close. I really should call it a tie, but I think it's a little drier. This is the WD liquors. Oh, it's the Bocador. Oh, man. Hey, well, you say now the excuses. Go ahead. You're telling me this. Go ahead. Make all your excuses. I'm not making excuses because I said like 10 times before I made the determination that they were almost identical. So, okay, I got it wrong. Big deal. Not downplaying that. I'm not making excuses, and I'm not saying that's not important. I would like to tell them apart. But I'm saying when you take in products, you take two products that are nearly identical. You try to tell them apart. Guess what? You can't. You get it wrong. Well, now, is that going to happen with Captain Morgan White or Don Q Cristal? No. Then you could start to worry if that happens. No, it's not going to happen. Captain Morgan White is going to be better than the Winn-Dixie. Is the Winn-Dixie okay? Yeah, it's pretty nice, It's definitely nice at $12.99 a handle. You say, but Captain Morgan's $10 more. Yeah, it is. That's right. And it's $10 better. Costs $10 more. It's going to be $10 better. So that's not going to be really a challenge. It's not going to be that much of a challenge. Oh, thank you, Invasion. When I bring in the Don Q rum, Don Q Cristal, introduced in 1978, but not sold in the USA till 2006. Uh, is it going to be better than this? Yeah, it's going to be better. And I only paid $1 more. Oh, I got it for $1 more. I got it for $13.99. You say you lie. You lie too much. You lie. You lie. I'm not lying. I found that Don Q rum Cristal handle, glass too, not plastic, beautiful embossed glass. One of the best looking liquor bottles I've ever seen. $13.99 at Dorgnac's Food Center. Now, did it stay that price? You know it did not. In fact, about a week after I bought it, the price went up, and the prices continued to climb. But I just said, if you don't buy it, you'll never see it at that price again. You will never see it at that price again. And I knew I was right because I never did, and I never will. So that was amazing. So I think I should close out with 2 wins. Captain Morgan White rum, introduced in 2014. Well, I should say reintroduced, because there used to be a product called Captain Morgan Silver Rum back in the 1960s and 70s. And I don't know what happened, but they stopped making it. And then they brought back a white rum in 2014, Captain Morgan White. Can you believe they stopped making a white rum for a while? But anyway, ain't no way it's going to lose to WD Liquors. That cannot happen. That's not possible. And then I've got another challenge starting up. That's going to be a whole bunch of headaches. It's going to be a lot of problems. It's going to be WD Liquors tequila. I've already done a solo review. It'll be posted soon enough, I guess. Give you a little preemptory rating of it. It tasted nice, like a regular gold budget tequila, say like El Toro, which does have a following. We have to admit that. Nothing special, but nothing bad. Sort of like this. So, yeah, but then I've got a lot of other tequilas that are the same way. They're like, yeah, it's good, but you're not mad because you didn't pay a lot. All right, so that's going to be a rough and tumble taste challenge series. I think it's going to give me a headache. Well, not literally. You know what I mean? Just we say it as a figure of speech. All right. Well, sorry I got it wrong, but it's the way it goes, I guess. All right, y'all take care now. Bye bye.